the center of your field of view, right at the horizon now.
Roger.
That's the best focus we got. Okay, full zoom and right in that region in the center should be the landing site of Apollo 17. Known hereafter, I guess, as the Taurus Littrow area.
You're now 1,500 miles above the surface, and your climb rate was just computed at 295,000 feet per minute.
That is really moving out. We're glad they cleared the traffic out of the way. Let me, Gene, let me switch over briefly and show them the North and South Poles, which nobody has really done much with yet, except for Lunar Orbiter and some of the Russian vehicles. There's a spectacular valley off on the South Pole. I don't know the name. It looks like one of these long chain of craters. Does that show up here? Let me try it. Let me try some of these others. Well, oh, here's where I can get it. Okay, Houston, we're in, good picture. That's in the South Polar regions. There's, I think you can probably see a long chain of craters, which so far are unvisited by man. In fact, the whole region has, and that goes to the North Pole.
Roger, Jack. That's very interesting. Can you zoom in on that valley?
I think that's the best we got, Gordy. That's full zoom.
Roger.
It's one of the biggest chain crater valleys that I've seen on the moon. We saw some crossing Mendeleev in the first few days. I think we talked about similar in shape, but not nearly as big.
Roger.
Let me move over briefly to give you another view of Humboldt, which should show up very well now. We're just about directly overhead. It's unusual, one of the few craters on the moon that have a fairly flooded floor that appears to have been domed, and you probably can see some of the cracks in that floor.
Okay, it's in the center of the field now. However, something's blocking the right side of the view.
How's that?
That's real good now.
Around the edge, the dome floor, you can see some of the dark mare that is prevalent elsewhere in the region, but not so abundant within Humboldt.
Roger.
You can see, if you can see, check if you read it, language, you mean? Oh, okay. At the window. Oh, all right. Hey, there's another view, you will bear with us, of our old friend Silkowski. Okay? Okay, I got it.
Roger, it's hard to mistake that one.
Flight retro. Go ahead. Okay, based on his confirmed
Yeah, it's
maneuver,
one of the more
we got about a
picturesque
foot a
stations,
second
I guess,
recourse
although
at
it's
5.
big. It's not so big you can't look at it all at once.
40 minutes.
Smithy and Chrysium and Serenitatis and Imrim in particular are hard to look at all at once.
We have to wait quite a
You're
while
always down
before we
inside
get
of them in
real
the
good
60 nautical mile
understanding.
orbit.
That looks real good.
Roger, just might mention a diameter for those who are watching at home. That's about 180 miles across, I think.
Okay, that's pretty good. I was going to say about 200 kilometers, I think is what it is. But
That's right. And Gordy, of course, it's on a part of the moon that you don't see from where you are.
Roger.
not yet anyway. Okay, let's see if we can move on along our orbital track that we've been following to see what new has come into view. Once again, I'll pick you up at Smithy. And move you into Mare Marginis, the Margin Sea. And all the Mare, you may recall now, we have pretty good evidence as a result of the Apollo program that our series of basalt flows that some 3 to 4 billion years ago, in round numbers, were erupted on the moon and filled many of the low areas that existed at that time. Not an awful lot has happened to the moon since, except for the impact craters, some younger ones since 3 billion years ago, which is one of the reasons it becomes so interesting to man. It's the moon's frozen in a period of history 3 billion years and older, which is a period of history that we cannot recognize very readily on Earth because of the dynamic processes of mountain building and oceans and weathering that are taking place even at the present time. Understanding that early history of the moon may mean an understanding of the early history of the Earth. And I think we're well on our way to a first-order understanding of that history as a result of the program. Okay, I'm going to take you a little bit farther along. Again, to Proclus, which is the obvious partially rayed crater with a big excluded zone to the southwest. There's Mare Fecunditatis and its contact area with the Sea of Serenity, Mare Serenitatis. And the landing site now has to be just about on the horizon. I think we were a little premature before.
Roger.
Yeah, we were. Roger. That's microbus A and B just beyond Proclus there. Yeah, that's really microbial. Now you're starting just to see the Mare of Serenitatis come over the horizon. Yeah. And if you take a line from Proclus between the two bright craters, can you get more of the boat and less of the space up there? How's that? That's that. Take that line, and that will take you just about to the landing area. Right at the edge of the
Jack,
next big
we can
farm.
follow that just as you told us there. Those 3 craters are very obvious.
Site Gordo is now just to the left and low below center of your picture.
Roger.
You can see that ridge of mountains that sticks out, and the landing site is well, from here anyway, right in that area.
Right. I guess my line was a little bit north of where we actually should have pointed you. There's some dark area just showing up in around the edge of Serenitatis on the horizon. that'll show in your picture, as I remember some of these from Apollo 10 before. And it's just this side of the dark area that the Taurus-Littrow area sits, in the mountains there.
Guidance flight. Go ahead, fly. You got your...
We think we have Meraldi in sight now.
Yes, and you also, Vitruvius should be visible to you just to the south of the landing area.
Vitruvius is in the monitor, so they should have it. Jack, I think you got a good view. You can see Censorinus now. You can probably get a real good shot at the 11th side of Tranquility.
Yeah, you're right.
There's old Censorinus. It's awful big.
How big is it,
Okay,
Tito?
north the southern border.
The old Censorinus is right in the middle of the screen.
We see it.
You've been there before.
Right. Houston, you just passed 2,000 miles.
2,000 miles. We've got about a 95% full boat in front of us.
Not too far. Matter of fact, I think the Apollo 16 landing area would be just about on the horizon to the south of Tranquilitatis. And back up to something that's near to our hearts. You probably now can pick out the mountains, the north and south massifs if you really look closely. What do you think, Gene, from the monitor? Can they see that?
I can't even see the massif with the naked eye. No.
See the dark area there next to the
I know where. Yeah, I know where to look, but it's awful hard to pick them out. But you're looking right at it. You got it right. Just to the left center, it's just about perfect now, the landing site. There's a little dark area in that peninsula mountain that sticks out, and the site's just about right in that area.
Roger, Gene, as you say, we know where to look, but it's hard to confirm exactly the structure there.
Come on, you guys, I could even see the light mantle.
Extrapolation is the nature of our art.
I just saw a flash, Jack.
I wish we could... Okay.
I didn't hear him.
Say again?
I just saw a flash.
I wish we could show you some of the color we've seen on the moon this trip, but I think we're a little too far away from it.
We've been looking for light craters.
Back in more from here.
Well, I could show you a picture of the commander. He's fairly colorful.
Hey, that's outstanding. That's what we need.
That's about what we're seeing, Gordy. I can't give you the bottom half because I can't quite move around the poles here.
no, we're getting a great picture.
You give them the whole move?
80% of it.
Thank you.
Okay, I think you can orient yourself with the big basins Jack's been talking about. There's Chrysium. You can see the landing site up in the, what is to be the upper left-hand corner of the picture, but you can pick it out by now, I know. Got a better relationship. You're looking at Langren is down there, the bright crater. You ought to be able to see Humboldt. Maybe Jack can give you the whole thing. Just a second. Can you give the whole thing?
Yeah, he's at minimum zoom.
Yeah, minimum zoom. Okay, that's pretty good. That's centered, just about right in the center. It ought to fit your screen as we climb out. It's just about at tangential now.
That's perfect, right where you got it.
Okay, we'll hold that for a minute. The Terminator is coming across, of course, at the opposite side of the moon from the big basins as you're looking at them.
Roger.
Tino, what color does that Mario look like to you?
Jack? What color does a Mari look like to me from here?
Right.
Now that I'm a commander, do I have a right to change my mind?
I guess so.
Tom, you know, I always thought you could almost make it look whatever color you wanted to. It's so subtle. But the Mari to me has got a grayish, a dark grayish mixed with a very subtle tan. And that's what it looks like to me from here.
Roger.
This is CMP, I agree with that.
The tan is sort of like a dusted tan in spots in and around and on the Mari. I'd say that the basic, if I could pick out a chunk of the gray Mari from here, I'd pick out a very steel gray, a dull steel gray color. But if I just took a massive Mari out, I'd have to mix it with a subtle, very, very subtle pastel tan. That's perfect. You can see Siakovsky now on the Terminator down there. I think Jack's just about got the moon centered perfect. You got Siakovsky on one end, the big basins on the other end. How high are we, Gordy?
Okay, you're 2,327 miles.
You know, I think it's worth noting while we're looking back at the entire moon as we see it here, and as you're seeing it there, that America could be proud of the Apollo heritage it's left here. I know we in the program believe that it's really and truly been a heritage that will prove itself to be one of the most beneficial things that have happened to mankind in quite some time, although none of us can really predict the future. But I think everyone who's been part of this program has been proud of its accomplishments. I know we have. We're looking back at some place I think we will use as a stepping stone to go beyond someday. And those aren't words, so it's a faith I truly and dearly have. And I think we will all see it in our lifetime, not just as a nation, but as a world. And I think the Apollo program not only has given us the first steps to that sort of impossible dream, but has given us an opportunity to make the first steps in bringing the world together as one unit so that we can make that step together. It's been a privilege sharing the program, that part of it that we've been in, with as many people as we have and as many people as we can, because I've often thought, and I've often said before, that anything that's worthwhile doing and doing well is certainly worthwhile sharing with others. This is history being made in our time while you and I are alive, not 100 years ago or 1,000 years ago, and it's sort of the real thing happening right now. you're living it, not just us, and we hope that you're getting as much out of it, not just feeling of pleasure and excitement, but that of accomplishment as we are.
Thank you, Gene. Speaking for the ground part of the Apollo team, we second those thoughts, which you put very well.
Well, Gordy, it's not our accomplishments, it's accomplishments of a nation. And I think the next set of accomplishments are going to be accomplishments of mankind.
Gordy, in that vein, I think a couple words I'd like to more or less reiterate what I tried to say as we finished our third EVA, and that was that the valley of Taurus Littrow and the orbit of the spaceship America saw the completion of mankind's first steps, first evolutionary steps from the planet Earth into the universe. I think it's important that in doing so, he established a tradition of peace and freedom within the solar system. From that larger home now, we move to greet the future.
Well, you know, Houston and America and the world, this is a command module pilot of the spaceship America, and I just feel quite honored and proud to have been a part of this Apollo program. The moon itself is a magnificent, well, I hate to use the word dynamic because it's really not dynamic, but it's a marvelous planet. It has all the wonderful opportunity for exploration. Man must explore. We will continue to explore, and I hope that someday we may all have the opportunity to see mankind enjoy the benefits of the exploration of the Apollo program.
Thank you very much for the great TV show and your final words. We enjoyed every bit of it.
And Gordy, with that, we're about behind our timeline as we fully expected we might be at this point in time. But believe me, it has been a beginning. It is a beginning. I don't think there ever will be an end, not as long as man is alive and willing.
Flight Capcom?
Go ahead.
What's the channel for that TV? It's not 60.
Procedures.
We're getting that flight. 77 flight.
77 flight.
Okay, channel 77. Network flight.
America, Houston,
There
we've
we
got
go.
a picture.
We
Looks
have the
good,
three
looks in
frames.
focus, and we see the flag and the patch.
Okay.
Everybody ready for questions? Roger, Apollo 17. If you're ready for the questioning, I'll begin.
Go ahead, Gordo.
Okay, as usual in these in-flight news conferences, the questions that will be asked of you were prepared by correspondents covering the Apollo 17 mission at the Manned Spacecraft Center in Houston. They will be read exactly as written and in the order determined by the newsman. The first question is for Jack Schmidt. If you as a geologist were coming home from a field trip on Earth, you'd be drafting a preliminary report and discussing it with fellow geologists. In terms understandable to laymen, can you summarize what you would be saying in your preliminary report about your field trip to Taurus Littrow?
Well, I'll give that a try, Gordy. I think the thing we had hoped to accomplish in Taurus Littrow was to look at as broad a spectrum of the history of the moon as possible in one small area as a concluding flight to the Apollo program. And I think we did that. I think we did look at some of the oldest rocks that it is possible to see with our capability in the breccias of the South and North Massifs. I think we saw some intermediate age rocks of fairly unexpected character, I believe, in the subfloor crystalline or igneous rocks, the gabbro as we call them there. And we also understood, I think, that those rocks in fact had intruded into the breccias of the North Massif. We found, I believe, at the crater Van Serg on the 3rd EVA that the regolith or the garden zone on top of that subfloor gabbro or the igneous rocks was quite thick, or appears to be very thick, which is an expected result, and will hopefully those rocks will have much information about a fairly extended period of lunar erosion. And we found that there was indeed a dark mantle over the area of variable thickness, but apparently of relatively recent age, and that in turn had a light mantle of material of which we do not yet understand, and I think that the samples are going to have to tell that story. It may well be a landslide that has come off the South Massif. And then, possibly as important as any finding, we found that even later than that relatively young light mantle deposit or possible avalanche, we have alteration reminiscent of the alteration by hot waters or hot gases on Earth, and that was the orange, appears to be the orange soil that we found around the crater Shorty. And subsequently in orbit, we started to pick up, and particularly through Ron Evans' efforts, pick up more and more of the apparent evidence of such alteration taking place in fairly recent time on the moon. All of those items, I think, are extremely significant and go through the full range of our present knowledge of lunar history. And a report I would write would initially summarize that particular sequence of events.
Question number